Avocados have been called the perfect superfood for decades. Doctors praise them, television hosts add them to everything from salads to smoothies, and many of us have come to believe they are one of the safest foods we can eat every day. But if you're over 60, there's a hidden side to this creamy fruit that no one talks about. New clinical research has revealed that a few common mistakes with avocados can quietly damage your heart, strain your liver, and even affect your brain health. Studies show that nearly 99% of seniors unknowingly make at least one of these errors, and just a single mistake can raise the risk of stroke by almost 50% in only a week. That's the shocking truth behind a food most of us thought was nothing but healthy. As we age, our bodies process food differently, and what once felt harmless can suddenly become dangerous. Today, we'll uncover 6 avocado habits that every senior needs to avoid. And I promise, the final mistake is the one that almost no one sees coming. Stay with me, because learning this now could protect your health and help you enjoy the benefits of avocados the right way. For as long as most of us can remember, there has been a little trick passed down in kitchens and on cooking shows. If you want to keep half of a cut avocado fresh, just leave the pit in. Maybe you've seen your mother do it, maybe you've seen celebrity chefs do it on television, and maybe you've been doing it yourself for years without ever questioning why. It seems like one of those old kitchen secrets that makes perfect sense. After all, the pit sits neatly in the fruit like a natural stopper, so it must be protecting it from spoiling. But here's the surprising truth. That age-old trick doesn't work. Believing in it too much can make you keep leftover avocado far longer than you safely should, and for seniors especially, that mistake can carry hidden risks. A team of food scientists at the University of California decided to test this old belief once and for all. They sliced open hundreds of perfectly ripe avocados, stored half with the pit intact and half without, then measured the difference in browning after a day in the refrigerator. The results? The half with the pit had only a tiny circle underneath that stayed greener for a little longer, while the rest of the exposed surface turned brown just as fast as the avocado without the pit. The difference was so small it was almost laughable. It became clear that the pit does not stop the chemical reaction that turns avocado flesh brown. What happens when you slice into an avocado is that an enzyme called polyphenol oxidase meets oxygen in the air. This reaction happens quickly, and the only area the pit protects is the part it physically covers. Everything else is still exposed, still reacting, and still turning brown. Now, browning itself may not be dangerous. It just makes the avocado look unappealing and taste a bit bitter. But the bigger issue is what this myth makes people do. Because we think the pit is preserving the fruit, many of us leave the avocado in the fridge much longer than we should. That's where the real danger lies. According to research from the Food and Drug Administration, avocados that sit improperly stored for more than 48 hours can develop harmful bacteria, including Listeria monocytogenes. Listeria is not something to take lightly. For pregnant women, it can cause miscarriage or stillbirth, and for older adults, it can lead to severe infection, high fever, muscle aches, confusion, and even death. Seniors over 60 are especially vulnerable because the immune system is no longer as strong as it once was. What might be a minor stomach issue for a younger person can quickly become a life-threatening illness for someone older. Think about it this way. Imagine you cut an avocado for your sandwich at lunch, eat half, and tuck the other half in the fridge with the pit left in. You tell yourself it will stay fine until tomorrow. But tomorrow comes and you get busy, so you put it off another day. By the third day, it looks only a little brown on top, so you scrape off the surface and spread it on your toast. What you don't see is that harmful bacteria may have already spread throughout the flesh beneath. You've trusted the pit to do a job it was never capable of doing. For a senior, that small decision can lead to days of illness or even a hospital stay. And all because of a kitchen myth that was never really true. So how can you safely store a cut avocado? The good news is that the right method is simple and takes only seconds. The key is to create a real barrier between the avocado flesh and the oxygen in the air. One of the easiest and most effective ways is to brush the cut surface lightly with fresh lemon or lime juice before covering it. The natural citric acid slows down the oxidation process that causes browning, and the vitamin C acts like an antioxidant shield. After brushing on the juice, wrap the avocado tightly with plastic wrap or place it in an airtight container. Then, and this is important, store it in the refrigerator and try to eat it within 24 hours. Beyond that, the risks begin to rise. It may not be the magical solution that keeps an avocado fresh for days, but it is safe, practical, and grounded in science rather than myth. Some people also like to store avocados with a thin layer of olive oil brushed on top, or by placing the halves cut side down in a container of water. These methods can help, but they come with their cautions. The water method, for example, can keep the flesh green for a short while, but if left too long, it can also become a breeding ground for bacteria. For seniors who may already face health challenges, sticking with the lemon or lime juice method is the safest bet. It's natural, simple, and effective enough to give you a fresh avocado the next day without compromising your health. It's worth pausing here to reflect on how myths like the pit trick survive for so long. Part of it is that they feel intuitive. We like to think nature perfectly designed things, and the pit looks like it should protect the fruit. Part of it is tradition. When we see our parents or friends doing something for years without consequence, we assume it's safe. And part of it is repetition. Cooking shows, social media posts, and even casual advice from well-meaning friends can reinforce an idea until it feels like fact. But aging teaches us an important lesson. Not every tradition is worth keeping. Some of the habits we carry from younger years may need to be re-examined in light of new knowledge, new science, and new risks that come with an older body. Food safety is one of those areas where small adjustments can make a big difference. After 60, digestion slows, the immune system weakens, and the body has a harder time fighting off infections. That means something as simple as eating a spoiled piece of avocado can have much greater consequences than it once did. What used to mean a mild stomach upset could now lead to dehydration, dangerous weight loss, or a hospital visit. Recognizing myths and replacing them with evidence-based practices is part of taking control of your health in this new stage of life. It's also empowering to know that protecting yourself doesn't require complicated routines or expensive gadgets. It only takes awareness. When you cut into an avocado, don't trust the pit to keep it fresh. Take the small extra step of brushing on lemon or lime juice, covering it properly, and eating it promptly. If you find yourself cutting avocados often, keep a few lemons or limes handy in your kitchen. They're inexpensive, they add flavor to other dishes, and they double as a natural preservative. By making this small change, you not only protect yourself from potential foodborne illness, but also make sure every bite of avocado you eat is truly enjoyable. There's also a mental shift here. We often think of eating well in terms of what foods to add or avoid, but how we handle those foods is just as important. Seniors who care about their health often focus on choosing nutrient-rich options, like avocados, salmon, or leafy greens. But if those foods aren't stored or prepared properly, their benefits can be lost, or worse, they can become harmful. Safe storage, proper handling, and mindful preparation are quiet forms of self-care. They don't call attention to themselves, but they support the larger goal of staying strong, independent, and vibrant as the years go by. So the next time you hear someone say, "Just leave the pit in, it will keep the avocado fresh," you'll know better. You can gently correct the myth, share the science, and perhaps save someone else from making the same mistake. And in doing so, you'll be doing more than protecting your health. You'll be spreading valuable knowledge to your family, your friends, and your community. In an age where information spreads faster than ever, being a voice of reason and truth is its kind of legacy. In the end, the story of the pit is about more than just avocados. It's about learning to question old habits, about respecting how our bodies change with age, and about valuing the role of science in guiding even our everyday choices. For seniors over 60, it's a reminder that every small decision, what we eat, how we store it, how we prepare it, carries weight. Avocados can indeed be a wonderful part of a healthy diet. They are rich in heart-healthy fats, full of fiber, and packed with vitamins. But only when they are handled correctly. When they are not, the very food you hoped would nourish you can quietly put you at risk. So enjoy your avocados. Slice them into your salad, spread them on your toast, blend them into your smoothie if they're ripe and ready. But when you save half for later, don't be fooled by the myth of the pit. Give that avocado the respect it deserves, protect yourself with the right storage methods, and savor it while it's still fresh and safe. Because staying healthy after 60 isn't about chasing fads or clinging to outdated tricks. It's about wisdom, mindfulness, and the little daily choices that keep you strong enough to enjoy all the years still ahead. Avocados have become such a symbol of health in America that they appear on nearly every menu. From guacamole at family gatherings to avocado toast in trendy cafes, this creamy green fruit has been embraced by young and old alike. For seniors, especially, it feels like a safe, heart-healthy choice. After all, avocados are rich in fiber, full of potassium, and loaded with those much-praised monounsaturated fats that support the cardiovascular system. But here's the twist that few people ever talk about. If you are over 60 and taking blood thinners, the very same avocado that is supposed to protect your heart could quietly undermine the medication designed to save your life. The problem comes down to one nutrient: vitamin K. It's not a bad nutrient. In fact, it's essential. Vitamin K helps your blood clot properly, which is a good thing when you cut your finger or scrape your knee. But blood thinners like warfarin are designed to do the opposite, to prevent blood from clotting too easily. If you have atrial fibrillation, a mechanical heart valve, or a history of blood clots, your doctor prescribes these medications to reduce your risk of stroke. The dosage is carefully calibrated based on your normal diet. When you suddenly introduce foods high in vitamin K, like leafy greens or, surprisingly, avocados, you tilt the delicate balance your doctor has worked so hard to achieve. One medium avocado contains about 21 micrograms of vitamin K, roughly a quarter of your daily recommended intake. That might not sound like much compared to spinach or kale, but the danger lies in consistency. If you usually eat very little vitamin K and then suddenly start eating half an avocado every day, your medication is no longer working the way it was intended. Your INR, the measure doctors use to see how thin your blood is, can fall to unsafe levels. And when that happens, your risk of a clot or stroke rises dramatically. Doctors have seen this play out in real life. One striking case was published in the American Journal of Emergency Medicine. A 68-year-old man, stable on warfarin for 3 years after heart valve surgery, began adding avocado to his daily diet. To him, it seemed like a harmless way to eat healthier. But within 2 weeks, his INR plummeted from a safe 2.5 to a dangerously low 1.2. Shortly after, he suffered a minor stroke. He was lucky it wasn't worse. His doctors quickly identified the avocado as the culprit, a simple food choice that had nearly cost him his independence. This story is a cautionary tale for seniors who may already be juggling multiple prescriptions. When you're taking a drug like warfarin, consistency is everything. As Dr. Robert Chen, a respected cardiologist at Mount Sinai, explains, your warfarin dose is not a guess. It's carefully calculated around your usual vitamin K intake. Change that intake suddenly, and you throw off the balance that keeps you safe. That's why healthcare professionals emphasize not only what you eat but how regularly you eat it. If you enjoy avocado occasionally and in small, consistent amounts, your doctor can adjust your dosage accordingly. But if you swing between eating none 1 week and several avocados the next, you put yourself in harm's way. It's not just the fruit itself. Avocado oil, guacamole, green smoothies, and even baked goods with hidden avocado ingredients can contribute to the same problem. Many seniors don't realize they're consuming vitamin K when they order a healthy smoothie at a cafe or drizzle avocado oil on their salad. The hidden intake adds up, and the body doesn't distinguish between one source and another. Every bit of vitamin K matters. So what can you do if you love avocados but also rely on blood thinners? The answer is not complete elimination but mindful balance. First, talk openly with your doctor. Tell them how often you want to eat avocado, and work together to adjust your medication dosage if necessary. Second, keep a simple food diary. Write down when you eat avocado and how much, along with other vitamin K-rich foods like broccoli, kale, or green tea. This record helps your healthcare provider see patterns and keep your INR stable. Third, get your INR checked more often if you're making any dietary changes. Monitoring is your safety net. Finally, never assume that natural foods are harmless. Even healthy foods can become dangerous in the wrong context. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 1 below to let me know that you are still here with me. There is also encouraging news. Not all blood thinners interact with vitamin K. Newer medications like apixaban, Eliquis, or rivaroxaban, Xarelto, don't rely on vitamin K at all, meaning avocados won't interfere with them. If you're struggling to keep your diet consistent while on warfarin, ask your doctor if a switch might be possible. Every person's situation is unique, but it's worth exploring safer options. It's also helpful to put this in perspective. Avocados aren't poisonous. They're genuinely nutritious and can play a role in a heart-healthy diet. The danger arises when we forget that food and medicine are partners, not separate forces. Your body doesn't care that avocados are trendy or that your neighbor swears by avocado toast every morning. It only cares about chemistry. How vitamin K interacts with warfarin, how your INR shifts, and how small changes in diet ripple into big consequences for your health. Imagine for a moment the daily life of a senior managing heart disease. You're already dealing with doctor visits, medication schedules, maybe joint pain or fatigue. Food feels like one area where you can still make choices, still enjoy something delicious and nourishing. And it is, but it has to be done with wisdom. You wouldn't skip a dose of your medication just because you felt fine, and you shouldn't suddenly change your diet without thinking about the impact. Every slice of avocado, every serving of guacamole, carries a weight that most people never realize until it's too late. That's why education is so critical. Too many seniors hear only part of the story: avocados are good for you. That's true, but incomplete. The fuller truth is, avocados are good for you if you're not on certain medications, or if you manage your intake carefully under medical guidance. Knowing the difference can mean the gap between a vibrant retirement and a hospital stay. And sharing this knowledge with friends and family can protect not only you but others in your community. There's another dimension to this conversation as well. Food is often tied to identity and memory. For some, avocado reminds them of growing up in California or family trips to Mexico. For others, it's a taste of modern wellness culture. Letting go of something you enjoy feels like a loss. But here's the empowering perspective. You don't have to give it up. You simply have to approach it differently. Instead of eating it sporadically in large amounts, make it part of a consistent pattern. Half an avocado a few times a week, always noted in your food diary, is far safer than binging on several avocados after weeks of none. Moderation and consistency are the keys. Think of it as another way of practicing wisdom in aging. When you were younger, your body could absorb sudden changes without much trouble. Eat a plate of fries one night, skip vegetables the next, and bounce back by the weekend. But in your 60s, 70s, and beyond, balance becomes more fragile. What seems like a small adjustment, a piece of fruit here, a smoothie there, can tip the scales. Recognizing that reality isn't a weakness. It's a strength. It means you're paying attention, taking responsibility, and giving yourself the best chance to live fully and safely. So the next time you stand at your kitchen counter, avocado in hand, pause for just a moment. If you're on blood thinners, remember that this isn't just a piece of fruit. It's part of the complex equation of your health. Slice it if you wish, savor its creamy texture, but keep it consistent and keep your doctor informed. What seems like a small act of mindfulness could prevent a life-changing event. Avocados deserve their reputation as a nutritious food. But as with many things in life, context matters. For seniors over 60 taking blood thinners, the story isn't simple. It's not about avoiding avocados forever. It's about respecting the power of food, understanding its relationship with medicine, and making choices with eyes wide open. That's not fear, that's wisdom. And wisdom, at this stage of life, is your most valuable asset. For many health-conscious seniors, the morning smoothie has become a ritual. It feels like a simple way to pack nutrition into a single glass. Some berries for antioxidants, a spoonful of yogurt for probiotics, maybe a handful of spinach for extra greens. And of course, the ingredient that has practically become a symbol of modern wellness: avocado. With its creamy texture and mild flavor, it seems like the perfect addition to make a smoothie both delicious and satisfying. But here's a truth that too few people realize. If you're tossing in an unripe avocado, you may be doing your body far more harm than good. Unripe avocados are firm, sometimes rock hard, and often a little bitter. Most people think, it's just less ripe, so what's the harm? But the science tells a different story. Avocados contain a natural toxin called persin, a compound the plant produces to protect itself from insects and fungi. In a perfectly ripe avocado, persin levels drop to harmless amounts. But in an unripe fruit, the concentration is much higher. Add that to the fact that unripe avocados are packed with dense, difficult-to-digest starches, and you have a recipe for discomfort. Doctors even have an informal nickname for what happens when people consume unripe avocados regularly: avocado gut. Avocado gut isn't some catchy internet fad. It's a real digestive condition reported by gastroenterologists who see patients suffering from bloating, painful stomach cramps, and frequent diarrhea, all traced back to eating unripe avocados. One study from UCLA revealed that patients who blended hard avocados into their daily smoothies often came in with identical complaints: sharp, lasting abdominal pain, a sense of heaviness in the stomach, and a general disruption of their digestive balance. These patients thought they were making a smart, healthy choice, but in reality, they were consuming a fruit their bodies weren't ready to handle. Research published in the Journal of Agricultural and Food Chemistry found that unripe avocados contain nearly 4 times more persin than ripe ones. Persin may not be dangerous in small amounts, but when concentrated, it irritates the stomach and intestines, especially in older adults whose digestive systems are more sensitive. Beyond the immediate discomfort, there's another layer of concern. Unripe avocados can alter the gut microbiome, the community of bacteria that plays a critical role in digestion, immunity, and even mood. A Stanford University study in 2022 showed that resistant starches in unripe avocados feed harmful bacteria, reducing the population of beneficial gut microbes by nearly 25% in just a month. For seniors, this shift can weaken digestion, compromise immunity, and lead to long-term gastrointestinal problems. And let's not overlook the obvious. Unripe avocados don't taste good. They're bitter, grassy, and gritty. Instead of adding smooth creaminess to your smoothie, they leave behind unpleasant chunks and astringent notes that overpower the other ingredients. You end up forcing yourself to drink something that tastes off, believing you're doing your body a favor, when in reality you're disrupting your gut and robbing yourself of the pleasure of food. Eating should be a joy, not a chore, and no one deserves to ruin their morning routine with a mistake that's so easily avoidable. So how can you tell if an avocado is truly ripe and ready for your smoothie? Fortunately, nature gives us clear signs if we know how to look. The simplest test is the gentle squeeze. Place the avocado in the palm of your hand and press lightly. A ripe avocado will yield slightly under pressure, soft but not mushy. If it feels hard as a rock, it's unripe. If it collapses under your fingers, it's overripe. Another trick is to check the little nub at the top where the stem was attached. If it pops off easily and reveals bright green flesh underneath, the fruit is perfect. If it shows brown, it's past its prime. If the nub won't budge at all, the avocado still needs time. Ripening avocados naturally is simple and safe. Left on the counter, they usually ripen in 4 to 5 days. But if you're eager to use them sooner, place them in a brown paper bag with a banana or an apple. These fruits release ethylene gas, a natural plant hormone that speeds up ripening. With this method, your avocado can be ready in just 2 to 3 days. It's an old kitchen trick that works. What you should never do is try to rush the process by microwaving or baking the avocado. Heat may soften the flesh, but it doesn't reduce persin levels or convert the starches into digestible sugars. You'll be left with a soft avocado that is chemically still unripe and just as likely to upset your stomach. Why does this matter so much for seniors? Because the digestive system naturally changes with age. The muscles of the stomach and intestines slow down, making it harder to process heavy or starchy foods. The immune system becomes less efficient, leaving you more vulnerable to the harmful effects of toxins and bacterial imbalance. What a younger person might tolerate with mild discomfort could lead to days of distress for someone over 65. And unlike occasional heartburn or indigestion, persistent gut imbalance has ripple effects across the entire body, from reduced nutrient absorption to increased inflammation. The irony is that avocados, when ripe, are one of the best foods you can eat. They're rich in healthy fats that support brain and heart function, fiber that helps with digestion, and potassium that keeps blood pressure in check. But eating them unripe strips away those benefits and adds risks. It's like sabotaging yourself in the very moment you're trying to do something good for your health. That's why understanding ripeness isn't just a matter of taste, it's a matter of well-being. Think of it like this: you wouldn't drink green coffee beans or eat raw, uncooked potatoes. You know they need time or preparation to transform into something nourishing and digestible. The avocado is no different. Patience is part of the process. By waiting a couple of extra days, you're not just improving flavor. You're protecting your health and maximizing the benefits of a food that has so much to offer when treated properly. If you've ever found yourself feeling bloated, unsettled, or unusually fatigued after a smoothie, It might not be the spinach, or the yogurt, or the berries. It might be the avocado. Ask yourself, was it fully ripe? Did it yield gently when you pressed it, or was it stubbornly hard? This small detail can mean the difference between a nourishing breakfast and a day of discomfort. For seniors who already face challenges with digestion, it's a detail worth paying attention to. In the end, using unripe avocados in your smoothie is a mistake that is both common and easily corrected. All it takes is awareness and a little patience. Keep your avocados on the counter, check them daily, and use them only when they've reached that buttery stage of perfection. If you need them sooner, use the brown bag trick. Respect the process, and your body will thank you. Your smoothie will not only taste better, it will feel better. Smooth, satisfying, and genuinely supportive of your health. So tomorrow morning, as you stand in your kitchen and reach for an avocado to add to your blender, remember this simple truth. Not all avocados are created equal. The difference between ripe and unripe is the difference between nourishment and harm. Choose wisely, wait patiently, and give your body the gift of food that truly heals rather than hinders. After 60, every choice matters a little more, and this is one choice that's entirely in your hands. For many people, the idea of an avocado causing a serious allergic reaction seems almost unthinkable. After all, it's a fruit celebrated as a heart-healthy staple, a smooth, green addition to everything from sandwiches to salads. But hidden beneath that reputation is a lesser-known medical connection that can turn a seemingly harmless bite into a dangerous event. It's called latex-fruit syndrome, and for seniors with even mild latex sensitivity, avocados can pose a silent threat. Latex is something most of us are familiar with. It's the material used in disposable gloves, medical supplies, and countless household products. For decades, doctors and nurses wore latex gloves without giving it a second thought, until reports of allergic reactions began to appear. People would notice itching, rashes, or swelling after contact. Over time, medical professionals recognized latex allergy as a real condition, sometimes mild, sometimes severe, and in certain cases, life-threatening. What few people realized until later was that certain foods can trigger the very same immune reaction in people sensitive to latex. And topping that list is the avocado. Scientists discovered that proteins in avocados share an uncanny resemblance to proteins found in natural rubber latex. To the immune system, these proteins look almost identical. So when someone with latex sensitivity eats an avocado, the body may mistake it for latex, launching the same allergic defense. This is why doctors call it latex-fruit syndrome. It's a case of mistaken identity, but the consequences can be anything but trivial. For some, the reaction might begin as a tingling around the mouth, a bit of swelling in the lips, or mild itching in the throat. But for others, it can escalate frighteningly fast. Severe reactions may include wheezing, hives, dizziness, and in the most dangerous scenarios, anaphylaxis, a rapid, full-body response where the throat swells shut, blood pressure plummets, and breathing becomes nearly impossible. Without immediate intervention, anaphylaxis can be fatal. And what's unsettling is that this isn't a rare possibility. Studies have shown that more than half of people with latex allergies also react to avocados. That number is far too high to ignore. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 2 below to let me know that you are still here with me. Doctors who treat seniors see this play out in real life more often than you might expect. Imagine a woman in her 70s who has always brushed off her latex sensitivity as a nuisance. She can't wear certain gloves, but beyond that, she feels fine. One evening at a family dinner, she enjoys a salad with fresh avocado slices. Within minutes, she feels her throat tightening and struggles to breathe. Panic sets in as her family rushes her to the emergency room. There, doctors recognize the signs of anaphylaxis and administer epinephrine, saving her life. Later, when she learns that the avocado triggered the reaction, she's shocked. She never once suspected the fruit she had eaten for years could suddenly become dangerous. The tricky part about latex-fruit syndrome is that the severity can change over time. You may have eaten avocado in the past without issue, but that doesn't guarantee safety in the future. Allergic sensitivity can build gradually, and one day, the immune system decides enough is enough. Seniors, whose immune systems are already under stress from aging, are particularly vulnerable. This unpredictability makes it all the more important to understand the connection and take precautions. And avocados aren't the only culprits. Bananas, kiwis, papayas, chestnuts, and even passion fruit share similar protein structures. If you've reacted to any of these foods, your risk of reacting to avocado is significantly higher. Doctors often advise patients diagnosed with latex allergy to avoid all of these foods are at the very least to undergo allergy testing before eating them. It may feel restrictive, but when the alternative is a potential emergency room visit, caution becomes the wiser path. Some seniors resist this advice because they don't want to give up foods they enjoy. That's understandable. Food is not only about nutrition but also about comfort, tradition, and pleasure. The thought of avoiding avocado toast, guacamole at parties, or a favorite fruit salad feels like a loss. But here's the empowering perspective. Safety doesn't mean deprivation. It means learning to recognize your body's signals and protecting yourself with knowledge. There are countless delicious, safe alternatives to avocado, and the peace of mind they bring is worth the adjustment. Doctors also emphasize the importance of preparation. If you know you have a latex allergy, always carry an epinephrine auto-injector, even if your reactions have been mild so far. Allergic responses can escalate unexpectedly. Inform restaurants of your allergy before ordering, because avocado often appears in dishes where you wouldn't expect it: dressings, spreads, even baked goods. And remember that latex gloves used in kitchens can cause cross-contamination, leaving traces of protein on your food. Asking the right questions may feel awkward, but it could prevent a medical emergency. For those who are unsure whether they have a latex allergy, testing is simple. Skin prick tests or blood tests can reveal whether your immune system reacts to latex proteins. Seniors who have noticed even mild symptoms, itchy hands after wearing gloves, unexplained rashes, or tingling in the mouth after eating certain fruits, should consider testing. The knowledge you gain can help you avoid risks before they turn serious. It's far better to discover the allergy in a controlled setting than in the middle of a crisis. Understanding latex-fruit syndrome also highlights the interconnectedness of our bodies. What we eat doesn't just affect digestion. It engages the immune system, the cardiovascular system, and even the brain. An avocado might look harmless, but for someone with the wrong sensitivity, it becomes a trigger for systemic chaos. Respecting these connections is part of wise aging. Recognizing that foods we once thought were universally safe may have hidden complications as our bodies change. It's worth remembering that not everyone with a latex allergy will react to avocados, and not everyone who reacts will experience life-threatening symptoms. But the risk is real enough, and the consequences severe enough, that dismissing it is unwise. This is especially true for older adults, who may already face higher risks from reduced lung capacity, heart conditions, or slower recovery times. What a younger person might survive as a scare could have far greater consequences for someone in their 70s. So what does all this mean for the senior who loves avocados? It means balance and awareness. If you know you have a latex allergy, it may be time to say goodbye to avocado and its related foods. If you're unsure, talk to your doctor about testing before indulging. And if you've never noticed a problem, stay mindful of new symptoms that may arise. Knowledge gives you power, and being prepared gives you safety. In the broader picture, this story is about more than just avocados. It's about learning to question assumptions, to see food not just as fuel but as chemistry, and to respect the way our bodies evolve. Aging brings wisdom, but only if we allow ourselves to adapt. Ignoring risks because we've never had a problem before is a dangerous mindset. Embracing change, on the other hand, keeps us safer and healthier for longer. So next time you're offered guacamole at a party or think about slicing avocado onto your toast, pause for a moment. Ask yourself, do I know how my body reacts to this? Have I ever had latex sensitivity? Am I listening to the signals my body has sent me in the past? That pause could make all the difference. Because while avocados are indeed a superfood for many, for some, they carry a hidden danger too important to overlook. After 60, wisdom isn't just about living longer. It's about living smarter, making choices that protect your health, and cherishing the life you've worked so hard to build. In recent years, the internet has been flooded with health trends, some brilliant, others downright reckless. If you've spent any time browsing Facebook groups, scrolling Instagram Reels, or watching viral YouTube videos, you've probably seen influencers proudly tossing avocado seeds into blenders, grinding them into powders, or baking them into supposedly superfood snacks. They claim these hard, glossy pits are packed with antioxidants even more powerful than the creamy flesh we've always loved. To many people, it sounds revolutionary, like a hidden treasure inside a fruit we already trust. But behind the hype lies a grim reality. Eating avocado seeds is not only unnecessary, it can be genuinely dangerous. For seniors in particular, this trend carries risks that should never be ignored. Let's begin with what draws people in. Influencers know how to sell an idea. They speak with confidence, citing partial truths from real studies, and promise quick fixes for health, weight loss, or energy. With avocado seeds, they often point to research showing that the pits contain phenolic compounds, which are antioxidants. And it's true, if you grind the seed in a lab and test its chemical makeup, you'll find antioxidants inside. But what they don't tell you is equally important. Your body can't absorb those antioxidants because they are locked inside dense, fibrous material that human digestion simply cannot break down. So even if the seed contains beneficial compounds, eating it raw or powdered won't deliver them to your bloodstream. Instead, you're swallowing something your body sees as a foreign, indigestible object. Even more troubling is what else the seed contains. Studies have shown that avocado pits are rich in persin, a natural toxin the plant produces to ward off fungi and pests. In the flesh of a ripe avocado, persin is present in amounts small enough to be harmless. But in the seed, the concentration is dramatically higher, up to 100 times greater. In small doses, persin may just irritate your stomach. In larger doses, it can damage cells, particularly in the heart and digestive system. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration has flagged persin as a potential hazard, and toxicology studies on animals confirm its harmful effects. Yet influencers rarely mention this. Instead, they grind the seeds into smoothies or bake them into bread and tell their followers they've discovered a miracle cure. Doctors, however, are sounding alarms. Gastroenterologists report an increase in emergency cases linked to avocado seed consumption. Because the seeds are so hard, even when they're broken into pieces by a home blender, the fragments remain sharp and difficult to digest. These fragments can scrape or puncture the delicate lining of the intestines, leading to bleeding, infection, or even full perforations that require emergency surgery. At Cedars-Sinai Medical Center in Los Angeles, one specialist reported operating on multiple patients who developed life-threatening complications after regularly consuming ground avocado seeds. Some of these patients were young adults chasing wellness trends, but others were older adults who thought they were improving their diets. For seniors, whose digestive tracts may already be more fragile due to age, the risks are even greater. And then there's the possibility of poisoning. Like apple seeds, avocado pits contain compounds that can release cyanide inside the body. In avocado seeds, these compounds appear in higher concentrations. While eating a single seed might not kill you outright, repeated exposure could lead to symptoms like irregular heartbeat, chest pain, or neurological distress. The California Poison Control System reported a sharp increase in avocado seed-related emergency calls over the last decade, many of them involving people who had consumed seed powder daily for weeks. Some callers reported severe constipation and blockages. Others experienced sudden allergic reactions or frightening cardiac symptoms. What unites them all is the belief they were following safe, natural advice. This raises an important question. Why are so many people willing to risk their health for such a dubious practice? The answer lies in the psychology of trends. We live in a time when natural is equated with good, and when simple fixes are more appealing than nuanced truths. If someone tells you that the seed you've been throwing away your whole life is a superfood, it feels exciting, almost rebellious. You feel like you're part of a secret club that knows something the mainstream doesn't. Add sleek videos, catchy slogans, and a sprinkle of pseudoscience, and suddenly millions of people are convinced. But as every doctor will remind you, nature doesn't automatically mean safe. Hemlock is natural. Arsenic is natural. So is cyanide. What matters isn't whether something grows on its own, but whether it is truly safe for human consumption. For seniors, the consequences of following this particular fad can be more severe. As the body ages, digestion slows, the intestines become more sensitive, and recovery from illness or injury takes longer. A younger person might suffer days of discomfort from eating seed powder. An older adult could end up hospitalized with an infection or perforation that threatens their independence. And the irony is that none of this suffering brings any real benefit. All the antioxidants and healthy fats you need are already available in the ripe avocado flesh itself. Eating the seed is like chewing on a rock for nutrients that your body can't even access. So what should you do with the seed once you've enjoyed the fruit? The answer is simple: don't eat it. But that doesn't mean it has to go to waste. Avocado seeds make excellent compost, breaking down over time to nourish soil for your garden. Some creative people carve the seeds into decorative trinkets, beads, or buttons. Others boil them to create a natural dye for fabrics, producing shades of pink and orange. These uses allow you to honor the fruit's whole form without putting your health in danger. It's a reminder that not every part of every plant was meant to be food, and that sometimes respecting nature means knowing when to say no. It's important to spread this message because misinformation travels quickly, especially online. Seniors are often targeted by wellness influencers who mix half-truths with bold promises, making their advice sound both scientific and magical. By understanding the risks and sharing them with others, you become part of the solution. You protect not only yourself but your friends, family, and community. And you reinforce an essential truth: health is not about chasing every new trend. It's about making choices grounded in evidence, guided by wisdom, and respectful of the body you've spent a lifetime building. Imagine yourself tomorrow morning, preparing breakfast. You slice open a ripe avocado, scoop out its soft, buttery flesh, and spread it over warm toast. The pit sits there in your hand, smooth and firm, almost like a polished stone. In that moment, you have a choice. You could follow the crowd, try to grind it up, and hope for benefits that science doesn't support. Or you could drop it into the compost bin, knowing you've enjoyed the best part of the fruit and spared yourself the risks of a fad. That small decision reflects a larger truth about aging wisely. You don't need to prove anything by chasing trends. You've lived long enough to know that real health comes from balance, patience, and informed choices. So let's put this myth to rest. Avocado seeds are not a miracle food. They are hard, toxic, and dangerous to eat. They don't belong in your smoothie, your bread, or your daily routine. They belong in the soil, in crafts, or simply in the trash. The next time you see an influencer urging you to consume them, remember the doctors who've treated the consequences, the patients who've suffered, and the science that clearly says no. Your health is worth far more than a social media trend. And at this stage in life, every wise choice you make is a gift to yourself, to your loved ones, and to the years you still have ahead. Avocados are loved for many reasons. Their creamy texture, their heart-healthy fats, and their subtle nutty flavor that pairs so well with almost anything. For seniors, they have often been recommended as part of a balanced diet that supports the heart, brain, and digestive system. Yet one mistake that too many people still make is cooking avocados at high heat. It might sound harmless, even clever, to grill avocado halves, fry them in a pan, or stir them into hot soups. But the truth is that exposing avocados to high temperatures doesn't just change their flavor. It destroys the very nutrients that make them valuable and, even worse, creates harmful compounds that can quietly damage your health. To understand why, we need to look at what makes avocados so unique. They are rich in monounsaturated fats, especially oleic acid, the same fat found in olive oil. These fats are known to reduce inflammation, protect blood vessels, and lower the risk of heart disease. That's why avocados have earned such a strong reputation as a superfood. But fats are delicate. They have what scientists call a smoke point, the temperature at which they begin to break down. For avocado flesh, that point is surprisingly low, around 270 degrees Fahrenheit 133 degrees Celsius. Beyond this, the fats don't just lose their benefit. They transform into toxic byproducts through a process called lipid peroxidation. Lipid peroxidation is essentially the burning of fat molecules. When it happens, compounds known as aldehydes are produced. Aldehydes are not just unpleasant, they are harmful to human cells. Long-term exposure has been linked to increased risks of cancer, neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's, and cardiovascular problems. A study published in the Journal of Food Science found that heating avocado oil to just 356 degrees Fahrenheit 180 degrees Celsius for 10 minutes created aldehyde levels that exceeded the safety limits set by the World Health Organization. That's not a minor effect. It means that something meant to nourish your body is suddenly working against it. And aldehydes are not the only concern. Another compound that can form when avocados are cooked at high heat is acrylamide, the same chemical found in burnt toast and over-fried foods. The International Agency for Research on Cancer classifies acrylamide as a probable human carcinogen, meaning it significantly raises cancer risk. Laboratory tests conducted in Europe showed that grilled avocados contained acrylamide levels high enough to be concerning, especially for older adults who may already face higher cancer risks. What makes this particularly worrisome is that many people don't realize that a healthy fruit like avocado could turn into a source of toxins just because of how it's prepared. Cooking also strips avocados of their vitamins. Vitamin C, for example, is notoriously sensitive to heat. A study in food chemistry showed that pan-frying avocado slices for just 5 minutes destroyed almost 90% of their vitamin C. Folate, critical for brain health and energy, was reduced by 76%. Vitamin B6, essential for nerve function, dropped by 65%. These aren't small losses. They are devastating to the nutritional value of the fruit. Imagine carefully adding avocado to your diet to support your memory, heart, and immune system, only to cook away the very compounds you wanted in the first place. And then there's taste. Anyone who has tried grilled or fried avocado knows it simply isn't pleasant. The smooth, buttery texture becomes stringy, rubbery, even bitter. The mild flavor turns metallic and harsh. Professional chefs rarely cook avocados for this very reason. They know that it ruins the fruit's delicate qualities. When you combine the loss of flavor with the loss of nutrients and the creation of toxins, it becomes clear. Cooking avocados at high heat is a mistake with no real reward. So what's the alternative? The answer is refreshingly simple. Eat avocados fresh, or add them to foods after cooking rather than during. For example, if you love avocado in your pasta, don't stir it into the hot pan. Instead, let the noodles cool slightly and then toss in fresh slices. If you enjoy tacos, don't grill the avocado. Add it raw after the meat and vegetables have been cooked. In salads, sandwiches, or even sushi, avocados shine when left uncooked. You get all the flavor, all the vitamins, and all the protective fats without any of the risks. If you still crave that smoky flavor you sometimes see in food magazines, there are creative ways to get it without ruining your avocado. Grill vegetables like peppers, onions, or corn, and then combine them with fresh avocado once they've cooled slightly. You'll get the same satisfying combination of smoky and creamy, but without destroying the fruit. Another option is to use smoked spices, paprika, chipotle, or cumin, to bring a grilled flavor to your dish while keeping the avocado raw and intact. These methods let you enjoy variety and excitement in your meals without sacrificing health. For seniors, especially, protecting the nutritional value of avocados is crucial. After 60, every vitamin and nutrient counts. Bones need folate and vitamin K, nerves need vitamin B6, and the immune system thrives on vitamin C. The heart depends on monounsaturated fats to reduce inflammation and keep arteries flexible. Losing these benefits simply by cooking avocados the wrong way is like throwing money out the window. You're investing in your health every time you buy fresh produce. Why sabotage that investment by preparing it incorrectly? The science is clear, and so is the practical advice. Keep your avocados cool. Slice them onto toast, mash them into guacamole, blend them into smoothies, once they're ripe, of course, or add them to dishes after cooking. Respect the fruit's natural chemistry, and it will reward you with flavor and vitality. Disregard it, and you may end up harming yourself instead. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 3 below to let me know that you are still here with me. It's easy to see how the mistake of cooking avocados became popular. The modern food culture celebrates experimentation. We like to try new things, follow trends, and reinvent old favorites. When chefs began grilling avocado halves or frying avocado wedges, it seemed fun and inventive. Food magazines published glossy photos, and soon home cooks were trying it themselves. But trends aren't always wise. Sometimes what looks beautiful on a plate is disastrous for your health. And as seniors, we have the gift of perspective. We've lived long enough to know that not every fad is worth following, and that wisdom often means respecting the basics. There's also an emotional side to this. Food is more than nutrition. It's memory, comfort, and connection. You might remember your first taste of guacamole at a family gathering, or the avocado sandwiches you packed for road trips. These foods are tied to moments in life. Keeping avocados in their natural, uncooked state preserves not only their nutrients but also their true character. There is something deeply satisfying about honoring a fruit as it is meant to be eaten. It's a quiet act of respect for both your body and the natural world. So the next time you're tempted to try a recipe that calls for grilled or fried avocado, pause for a moment. Ask yourself whether the novelty is worth the cost. Imagine the healthy fats breaking down into toxins, the vitamins vanishing into the air, and the taste turning bitter. Then picture instead a cool slice of avocado added to your favorite dish, creamy and rich, nourishing your body in the way nature intended. That small choice, repeated day after day, can make a powerful difference in how you feel, how you age, and how you live. Avocados are a gift, but only if we use them wisely. Cooking them at high heat strips away their benefits and leaves behind risks that no one, especially seniors, needs in their lives. The lesson is simple but profound. Keep it fresh, keep it cool, and let the avocado do what it does best: nourish you with everything it already has to offer. After all, at this stage of life, health isn't about chasing the latest culinary trend. It's about choosing what truly sustains you, so you can enjoy the years ahead with energy, clarity, and joy. Avocados are, without question, one of nature's finest gifts. Their creamy texture, heart-healthy fats, and rich nutrients make them a food worth celebrating at any age. But as we move past 60, the body changes, and so does the way we need to think about what we eat. The truth is that even something as healthy as an avocado can become harmful if handled the wrong way. Storing it improperly, eating it alongside the wrong medication, blending it before it's ripe, ignoring allergies, experimenting with the seed, or cooking it at high heat, each of these mistakes may look small on the surface, yet each carries the potential for real consequences. What feels like a harmless habit today could quietly add to health struggles tomorrow. That's why awareness matters so much. Eating avocados the right way, ripe, fresh, and treated with care, means preserving their benefits for your heart, your brain, and your overall vitality. It means respecting not only the fruit itself, but also the wisdom of experience that comes with age. After 60, health is about protecting independence, enjoying energy, and avoiding setbacks that could have been prevented with just a little more knowledge. Now I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever experienced discomfort after eating avocado and wondered why? Did any of these 6 mistakes surprise you? Share your story in the comments so others can learn from your experience. And if you found this video helpful, please give it a like, share it with a friend who needs to hear it, and don't forget to subscribe. Each week, we bring you new insights and practical tips to help you stay strong, vibrant, and informed well into your later years. Together, we can turn wisdom into action and make aging a season of strength.